भारत में 2500 वर्षों से बौद्ध धर्म का वजूद है और देश के हर कोने में बौद्ध परंपरा और संस्कृति फल फूल रही है। लेकिन भारत के टेलीविजन इतिहास में पहली बार नोबल विजडम यानी शराब संगपो के नाम से शुरू हुआ है एक टेलीविजन कार्यक्रम जो भारत की बौद्ध परंपरा और बौद्ध धर्मावलंबियों की ताकत को उजागर करता है। इसी मकसद से पेश है एक और एपिसोड। कार्यक्रम में अगले कुछ दिनों तक आप जानकारी पाएंगे हिमालय क्षेत्र की बेजोड़ पारंपरिक चिकित्सा पद्धति सोआ रिगपा के बारे में।
Then comes lifestyle. It's the main thing, lifestyle. Now you see, as we have discussed, hectic lifestyle. Too much excess verbal activities, excess sort of physical activities, excess mental activities. What else? Trauma, job loss, aging, illness. All this causes stress and tension in our mind. There are other levels of stress, as we have discussed. There are different levels of stress according to the age, sex, class, creed, environment, and so on. There are different levels of stress. One could say that children's stress, adult stress, aged stress, there are different levels. You see, even children have their own stress about examinations and all these things, struggling too much. And the adult sort of stress, there are too many. Job loss, difficult to get job, and all these things we have very well known, especially after development of this too much technology. People tend to suffer more on stress. They need to move faster because of the technology, so they get more stress. It's quite clear. Then again, caste, creed, environment, that also make difference. So that is the lifestyle that makes the real sort of causes of contributing factors for the stress. Then let's think, what is the signs and symptoms of stress and tension? Actually, there is different level. Generally speaking, one could say that those who have too much of stress and tension, they feel restlessness, exhaustion, mental instability. They lost their concentration. They feel loneliness. They had, in serious cases, social withdrawal, headache, muscular tension, as I told you, pressure on the upper back, insomnia, loss of appetite, agitation, irritation, yawning, dullness of sense organs, pain in the lung points. There are certain points for the wind energy. Let's say here and the back, here and some on the back, and sometimes pain in here. These are all lung points. When you have too much of stress, when stress level is a little higher, you just press here in the middle. Here you will feel a pressure. Again in the crown of your head, when you do like this, you will have a pressure. Again in this, you will press, you will feel pressure. Again one, there is a 6th vertebra. When you press there, you will feel the pain. So these are the lung points, and as I told you, lung points and consciousness points could be similar. So these are the some kind of signs and symptoms. So after having this problem, signs and symptoms, they lose their immune systems. They tend to suffer different kind of other illnesses, because once their immune system is weaker, then they suffer any kind of illnesses. And those who have too much of suffering before the stress, their illness will become worse after afflicting with the after afflicting by the stress and tension. Then in serious cases, suicidal feeling, it often comes because they cannot think what to do. They had a feeling that I think that's the ultimate solution, they feel. But it's not the ultimate solution. One cannot free from stress once you attempt for suicide. So long as we are thinking about next life and future life, you cannot free from stress. It should be released through your own mental factors. That's the ultimate solution.
कैसे दूर हो आपके जीवन की मुश्किलें, कैसे सवरे आपका करियर, कैसे सफल हो आपका हर काम, क्या कहते हैं आपकी किस्मत के सितारे, जानिए सटीक होने वाली बौद्ध भविष्यवाणियां।
Namaste Tashi Dilek. My name is Tenzin Yanki. I'm Tibetan astrologer from Dharamsala, Menzikhang. 30th November, Tuesday, 24th day of the 10th lunar month. The elemental combination is fire and fire. A good combination, and this brings growth and increase. Indication of receiving gifts and offers are there. The day is specifically good for doing business, planting grains, practicing generosity and making offerings to well-to-dos. Maginamgo, violent activities, especially taking part in physical fight, will not be favorable. Bumtong or empty ways is at north direction, so avoid all important activities, especially funeral procession while facing north. Sexe is also there, so you should refrain from performing and undergoing surgery and thoracic therapies like moxibustion, bloodletting, and golden needle therapy. 1st December 2010, Wednesday, 26th day of the 10th lunar month. The elemental combination is water-wind. Inauspicious combination, and this brings disharmony and separates friends and relatives. Particularly on this day, refrain from doing work related to construction and moving of houses. Also avoid marriage, shows and celebration, and borrowing or refunding debts because Kikang also falls on same day. Bumtong or empty ways is at north direction, so avoid all important activities, especially funeral procession while facing north. 2nd December 2010, Thursday, 27th day of the 10th lunar month. The elemental combination is wind and wind. The combination of perfection. The day has sublime energy to quickly accomplish one's wishes. Traveling, reuniting people, and all quick and temporal activities will be successful. But particularly on this day, you are suggested to refrain from doing marriage engagement because the day is Phagme Namgo. The day is favorable for people belong to tiger, rabbit, bird, and monkey animal sign to raise prayer or lungta flags, and unfavorable for people belong to ox, dragon, sheep, and dog animal sign. Bumtong or empty ways is at north direction, so avoid all important activities, especially funeral procession while facing north. Thank you and see you tomorrow at same time.
So many things are there. The need of course, sentient beings towards which you develop compassion. So many factors are necessary. And then similarly, it says, For example, if you shuffle the order of plowing the field and putting the manure, if you make a mistake of that order, then again the crop will not be proper, crop will not be good. So therefore it is that the order should also be followed systematically. Now even if you have all the facilitating factors like water, manure and so forth, but it is possible that even after the presence of all these causes and conditions, if that sprout encounters unexpected storm or hail, there could be many obstructing factors. So it is not only enough to ensure the presence of all the facilitating factors, but it's also important to stop the obstructing factors. So therefore, it is important to take into account both the facilitating factors and as well as to ensure that it is not destroyed by the obstructing factors. So therefore, in your spiritual practice or any other work that you are trying to do, it is important on the one hand to prepare the facilitating factors, and on the other to remove the obstructing factors. So if you undertake such a practice in this way systematically, then as is quoted in this text from the Paramanavartika, that when all the necessary causes and conditions are complete, nobody can stop the arisal of the fruit. And if you are unable to prepare all the necessary causes and conditions, then even if you desire the fruit for a long time, it will not be there. See? And that is the problem in the case of most of us, not only in the spiritual practice, but also in our day-to-day work or job. We are not able to concentrate in cultivating the necessary causes and conditions. So therefore, normally we experience failure. See, and especially like in the case of spiritual practice, I really feel that it is important that, like for example, to know at least one topic like impermanence very thoroughly. His Holiness the Dalai Lama these days encourages young people to do specialization. So something like that must be applied in your spiritual practice also. Like if you are somebody who really has a thorough understanding of the meaning of impermanence and its implication in one's own life, that will itself give a big jolt in the meaningless pursuit that we are carrying in our life. The problem with us, I mean, of course, I myself definitely included in this, and I'm seeing this in myself, therefore I'm sharing this with you, is like my concentration in one area is so weak, you see. I'm unable to fathom it, go deep down it, and make sense out of this profound teaching of the Buddha, you see. If you are able to do that, then that will help, facilitate, understand many other profound teachings. So therefore these days when I give talk, I don't tell people that I'm giving a teaching. I normally say I'm giving a talk, you see. It's a talk, not so much about teaching, you see. And what I'm really trying to do, people, is, as I said right in the beginning, is to help encourage people to do their personal experiment. to really sit down and think and reflect and develop some conviction, and then try to make sense out of it so that you are able to develop some conviction and get benefit from it. Otherwise it will be like endless talking. One person comes, give a talk, then after some time another person will come, give a talk, then the third person will come, give a talk. I'm not saying it is useless, but the impact will not be, really there will not be much impact there. Like in my own case, I am sometimes ashamed of having received so many teachings from His Holiness and many other teachers. But when I reflect inside myself, how much I am doing, how much transformation that has taken place, it's minimal. It's minimal. So I'm just sharing my experience with you. So in your case also, what is really important is to make a move, to make a move to get that benefit. Use our common sense, listen to these teachings, fathom the meaning of these teachings, use our common sense, and then practice as much as possible. And as I said right in the beginning, and I will conclude today by saying again, that today we are suffering not so much because of lack of knowledge, but because of not practicing and living in accordance with that knowledge, that teaching. One Buddhist master says that if you are thirsty, you certainly need to drink water, but not the whole ocean. So the meaning is, the more you get knowledge, it's good. If you get more knowledge, it's good. There are teachings which says, yes, you must study Sutra, Tantra, and fathom all those meaning of those teachings. They're all there. That is also important. But what this teaching is emphasizing is that if you want to quench your thirst, you need to drink water at least. You don't need to drink the whole ocean, but you need to drink certain amount of water to quench that thirst.